Welcome to the LeaderImpact podcast. We are a community of leaders with a network in over 350 cities around the world, dedicated to optimizing our personal, professional, and spiritual lives to have impact. This show is where we have a chance to listen and engage with leaders who are living this out. We love talking with leaders, so if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions to make this show even better, please let us know. Best way to stay connected in Canada is through our newsletter at leaderimpact.ca or on social media at LeaderImpact. If you're listening from outside of Canada, check out our website at leaderimpact.com. I'm your host, Lisa Peters, and our guest today is Dr. Rana Mustafa. Dr. Mustafa is a multifaceted professional who wears many hats. She's a food scientist, leadership coach, and entrepreneur. With a rich experience spanning over 2 decades, she has made significant contributions in academia, food innovation, project management, and project commercialization. Her work has guided thousands of university students and scientists in their journey from research to market, leaving a profound impact in and beyond the academic world. Dr. Rana's coaching methodology is rooted in empathy, intentional listening, and positive intelligence. She empowers science professionals to build their professional brand, enhance their professional presence, and develop their self-leadership skills. This enables them to emerge as the go-to experts in their respective fields. However, Dr. Mustafa's story extends beyond her professional achievements. As a survivor of war and breast cancer, she brings a unique perspective to her work. She extends her support to professionals grappling with life challenges, helping them cultivate resilient mindsets, reinvent themselves, and turn adversity into opportunities. Welcome to the show, Rana. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Well, this podcast is kicking off a new year for us, and I have, over the past few months, we've been talking about pivotal moments, and I thought that when I read your bio and just talking about helping people cultivate resilient mindsets, reinventing themselves, I thought we need to talk about pivotal moments. And so over the next, half hour or so, I would love to dive deep with you as a leadership coach and there's so much more in your bio. So are you ready? Or will you join me?
Of course.
Okay. So, people don't know you, Rana, and I just want you to, we're looking at a bit of your professional background and your whole story and how you got to where you are today. So I'm wondering if you can share a couple snapshots that were pivotal turning points on your own journey.
Yeah. So I was a university professor in my home country, which is Syria. And I enjoyed and I loved my position as a university professor because I always believed that education is our way to go tool to change societies. Unfortunately, because of the war in Syria, I forced to leave my home and my life changed forever after my home was destroyed. After 5 years of the war, I was unable to carry on my life with my kids, and I was threatened by different parties. So I decided to move to Canada. And my dream was to continue my career as a university professor. I came here as a researcher, and I started working in food innovation and food product development. However, my dream as a faculty member and as a teacher for university students was always in my head, and I wanted to follow on that dream. I went to University of Saskatchewan, got certification for teaching university students, taught some courses, but the path to continue as a university professor or faculty member was impossible because of different criteria they are asked us to do. So I changed to work in business development, and I worked in different roles so far, but it was just in helping researchers do their research. And we can talk about it later how I changed my mindset to accept this new reality and excel in it and build my new career here, a successful career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can't imagine you have the education uh, from
I,
Syria.
I had a PhD, a master's,
Yeah,
and a PhD from France,
from France.
not from Syria, yes. So I
Okay.
had those. I lived 6 years in France, came back to Syria with my PhD as a university professor. I was university professor for 10 years, teaching students at least 200, 250 students a year,
Mm-hmm.
supervising students, projects, industry collaboration, etc. And in less than 3 months, everything stopped and collapsed.
Yeah. How did that moment that, you know, it's gone? Like you've come here and would you say it's not recognized? You're saying the criteria is different. How
Um,
do you feel? Like,
yeah,
where are
so
you? Yeah.
I was very lucky that my credentials were from France.
Okay.
But I needed to do like certain process to get my qualification recognized. But as a university professor, they look at different things, but the major criteria is how many papers
Mm.
we published. Well, in Syria, we don't have enough resources and we don't have money to pay for publications and research. So if you publish one paper a year, that's great. If you compare me to any of my peers in Syria, I am by far like I am really way like my achievements were totally different and way like bigger. But if you compare me to the same person in Canada, I don't I am unable to compare myself to them. They publish more because of the materials, because of different um, financial resources, different resources. So at first, I felt it's unfair to compare people who are in
Mm-hmm.
different contexts and different situations. But I didn't want to dwell in it. I said to myself, what
Mm.
can I do differently? And I will succeed no matter what the role will be.
Yeah. I think that's a huge comment. I didn't want to dwell in it because you talk about resilience, and
Absolutely.
we get caught in a pivot. Things happen to us, good or bad, and we get stuck. And I really wanted to dive on that, on the getting out of, um, because there was so much. I mean, you left your country for a reason. You came here, your credentials. I mean, it's different. So your professional journey is different. Um, you know, in your comment, we talk about, or in your bio, breast cancer. How do you transition that mindset of a pivotal moment isn't always positive? It's something has happened, or it's a defining moment, good or bad.
Yeah.
Where do you this resilience?
I believe that we build it through life experience. We cannot just gain it in one moment or one day or one single experience. Um, I remember the professor who accepted who gave me the job offer at the University of Saskatchewan. Here, before coming from Syria, I came with a work permit. So I was communicating with like universities to find like fund for my research to come with a work permit, etc. So this professor, Dr. Phyllis Chand, and I thank her so much. In fact, she's at the College of Agriculture. She replied to me, "I will look at your application and let you know in few days my opinion or my feedback." So I was waiting and very nervous. So I wrote to her an email. I said, "I am sure you will find so many people who published more than me, who achieved more than me. But I did the maximum what I could have done in my own capacity. And I would love that you give me the chance
Mm-hmm.
to prove to you that I am capable." She wrote back to me. She said, "Absolutely. I look at your LinkedIn, I looked at your research gate, and I am seeing consistent improvement. And this is what matters. That comment in that pivotal moment, in that transition time between coming from Syria, from that war zone to Canada, was so helpful and powerful. Of course, she gave me the job offer. I came to Canada, and during that transition and building that resilient mindset, I met so many wonderful people who created those moments of, you call them significant moments, you can say. Yes, you are in that pivotal moment, but there is some circumstances or people who come to your life and they say maybe sentences, but those leave footprint forever and help you move further in your journey.
Yeah. I think you made two great comments there. And one is about the people who we surround ourselves with.
Absolutely.
Because if you're in a moment and you are surrounded by people that are just negative, 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 versus finding someone, searching someone out, surrounding yourself with a group of people, a person who believes in you. And then the other comment, I think, was just about the many moments, because the defining moment is all those moments that are leading up to, there's so many moments that make the moment.
Yes. And in fact, the same happened to me when I had breast cancer. So after this transition, after I got the great job I have, I felt that I built my life in Canada. And I felt for the first time for years that my life turned to be okay. And I couldn't enjoy it less than a year in that new position, new job that I loved, the new life that I loved. I knew that I have breast cancer. And as a professional woman, I felt life just everything collapsed around me. I spent my whole life to fight to get education in a culture where women are not supported. In my community, women are supported. My family supported me. It was not a common thing. So I spent my life studying and working hard, and now I'm sick with, they called me very aggressive cancer, used to kill women a few years ago. So the whole world collapsed.
Yeah.
When I shared this with my close friends, they used to say to me, Rana, you are strong. You went through so many challenges. You can do it. But guess what? At first, those words that people intended to support me with made me feel that I can't share anything with you anymore because you expect that I'm strong. So I can't share anything with you. I went through so many challenges. Is it my destiny? Is it my destiny to go from one challenge to another? So during the first few months, I can tell you that was not helpful for me until I was reading a book, Anatomy of Spirit, Carolyn Mess, and she was saying about look at the universal signal. And in all my life, I was working like crazy. So I thought, yeah, this is the universal signal. The universe is sending me a signal to pause and see what is my life purpose exactly. What do I want to do if I live for even 1 year ahead of me? What can I do? So I said, God, please help me stay at least 5 years so I see my son graduates from university. And I promise to help as many people as I can. I promise to speak because I can. I'm comfortable speaking. I promise to inspire as many women as I can. And that was the promise, and I committed to that.
Mm-hmm. So where are you now in your breast cancer journey? Is that an appropriate question?
Yeah, I
Okay.
finished all treatments on May this year, and I went back to work in August. Unfortunately, recently I lost also my job, but it's another moments in my life,
Right.
and I can talk about it. In fact, the multiple pivotal moments that I went through helped me to build that resilient mindset
Mm-hmm.
and create a new identity. With cancer, I created an identity to myself. I did training to be a certified coach, and
Mm-hmm.
I called myself resilient and transition leadership coach. So when I lost my job and I felt it's unfair because they said to me it's not related to your performance, you are a great employee, we are restructuring the team. Didn't resonate with what I believe in, and it hit me so hard. But I said to myself, and of course I cried a lot, but asked myself, where is that Rana? Who is that person who is a resilient coach if you cannot coach yourself? So I started doing that for myself. Right away, I was very proactive, communicating with people, my friends, to give me recommendation on LinkedIn, and I applied for jobs. And I cried a lot. I allowed myself to cry when I needed. And less than a week after applying for jobs, I got two invitations for two jobs interviews. And to me, it was an achievement, even though I don't get the job.
Yeah. I we were experiencing a little bit of a loss together, and so we have talked about this. And my biggest question was, how do we transition out? Right? You talk about the crying, and I lost a municipal election, and we talked about it together, and I had that pity party with you. I mean, not with you, say, but I cried, and I allowed myself to go, that what? Like, what just happened? I felt that the doors had opened. This was going to be a moment. I felt God aligning people into my life with my campaign. Everything was lining up, and then you lose. And I'm not. I look up and um, I had said to myself earlier, whatever the path is, I will accept. This is God's will. This is what God wants me to do. But then you lose, and then you're really angry and the crying. And you have to lose with grace, or you can't go on and slam the person, or slam the job, or slam the mother, or slam. You have to accept and go, what did I learn from that experience? And that's what I've talked about. That is just, I had to learn that wasn't what I was supposed to learn. I wasn't supposed to win. Okay. I was supposed to learn something, or I was supposed to experience, is maybe a better word. And that's
Yeah,
really hard, Rana.
absolutely. So I can talk about my experience with new coaching tools that I discovered through my cancer treatment. So I was doing positive intelligence training, and for the first time ever, I discovered why I was so sad when I had cancer. It's not only because I'm like, in fact, to be honest, like dying, like it was for me like, what? I am I will be away from my kids, from my beloved one, from my mom. Yes, but what else? The thing that hits me so hard that I felt I cannot stay at home doing nothing. I'm an achiever. Positive intelligence is a way of coaching, teaches us that we have patterns of negative self-talk,
Mm,
from judger to avoider to pleaser to hyper achiever, hyper vigilant, etc. So for me, everything happens in my life. I noticed, in fact, the pattern is the hyper achiever. Anything threaten my ability to achieve, it triggers me.
mm,
Sometimes it triggers me in a very bad way. I become so sad, so like I can be easily depressed. But knowing that this is what triggers me helped me to ask myself, why do I need to achieve all the time?
mm,
What if, as you mentioned, it's just a learning experience? And the other thing, in fact, that I really loved about this way of coaching is they talk about in every challenge, there is an opportunity. And you can turn every challenge into an opportunity of knowledge, of inspiration. So you can just, okay, what can I learn from this? What did I learn? How many people I learned about their feedback about me or about the world or about the process? And if you go back in, like, if you reverse engineering some events in your life, I know that I did apply for jobs or I did things that I wish it was successful. And
Mm-hmm.
then with time, when I reflect back, I dated people that I wish they were the person who like I can stay with for the whole life. And then later on in life, I discovered like, oh my God, thank God that was not successful, right? So you build all these kind of things. It's like a toolkit
Yeah.
that you build it. And when you have a new event in our life, like when every event in my life, I add new things, new tools to this kit. And the grieving, like when I grieve, the time is less. The
Mm.
more I am mature, the more tools I have in my toolkit, I
Mm-hmm.
feel that grief time is less.
Mm-hmm.
So I can accept and move on my life.
Okay, so Lisa needs to sign up for positive intelligence training. Yeah, I found myself. I don't know where I fit in. I listen to hyperachiever or overachiever, and think, oh boy, because I have to go to the next thing, and I needed to sit in what happened. Um, but that's really interesting. So this positive intelligence, if someone, like, where do you start? Do you start going back and do you start journaling? Do you start recognizing? I mean, obviously meeting with you is a great step, but if somebody was listening going, how do I recognize, or where do I start? I think that's the most
Yeah.
overwhelming, is starting.
So yeah, so positive intelligence coaching training is or program is was founded by Shirzad Shamin, and he's a Stanford University professor. He offers the positive intelligence or saboteur assessment for free for anyone. So you can Google
Okay.
positive intelligence saboteur assessment and you can do the saboteur assessment and you know your saboteurs. And what happens, they ask you questions so you can recognize the pattern in the last few weeks. You say, okay, I tend to avoid the problems, avoid conflict, or say yes all the time. So you answer questions, and at the end, you have the result. And it's good to work with someone who is positive intelligence coach like
Right.
myself, or you read the book. You can also read the book, and it's really very helpful. Uh,
Okay.
I personally found the book very interesting and helpful. I use the positive intelligent tools in my coaching, no matter what the problem is. Some people
Hmm.
say, "Oh, I have time management problems. I have difficult conversation I cannot handle." In fact, in one of my job interviews, they asked me, "How do you manage conflict?" I said, well, when there is a conflict, I try first to identify my saboteurs. So
Uh-huh.
is it because I feel that this person is, for example, not allowing me to achieve things and I am a hyperachiever, or this problem happened because I avoid all the time to talk to this person and understand their perspectives, so I'm an avoider. So you check on yourself first and you understand what's going on in yourself and you ask questions to the other person to understand what's going on their life as well. So in fact we can use it in so many ways, and
Yeah.
it helped me so much in my coaching practice and in coaching myself.
Hmm. I think the one thing, my own advice is, when we go online and we answer these questions, we have to answer the questions of where we are now, not what we want to be.
Absolutely,
Like sometimes I
absolutely.
think, oh yeah, I don't want to be an avoider, and I am, but I, or whatever it is, and I answer it to where I want to be, not what I am right now, because that's not going to help me.
Well, coaching assessments, it's always about being honest with ourselves. So we need to improve, and this is the goal of the coaching. So if we are not honest with ourselves and identify our own reality, we cannot go where we want to be.
Yeah. Um, so I think I asked you. So you're looking for the job, looking for the ultimate.
I'm looking for a great opportunity waiting for me, and this is what I am always thinking of. I'm
Yeah.
optimistic. Know that now I have that, like we live always with hope. And I know that since I came to Canada, I built that support system. I have great friends around me. I share my knowledge with people. I have LinkedIn newsletter. I coach scientists and the newsletter called Leadership Lab for Scientists. So I share my knowledge. I know that I built that personal brand for myself. So for the future, I do my best. This is what I do in life. I think of life as an exam. So you prepare for the exam. You think of the preparation, not the final mark. So if you prepare very well, the marks at the end will come naturally. But if you just think of what you are going to get as your score and stuff, you will be very stressed. I prepare and I leave everything in God's hands. And I believe and I trust that I
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
supported.
Oh, Rana, you're awesome. I love listening to you because I think exactly the same way. It's like, and I love that you put it to homework. That's a great way to define that. Yeah, I get that. Fortunately, in high school, I didn't really do my homework. Now I do, though. Anyway, so I have two final questions for you that we ask most of our Leader Impact um, guests, because we are at Leader Impact dedicated to leaders having a lasting impact. So as you continue to move through your own journey as it is, have you considered what you want your faith legacy to be when you leave this world?
Absolutely. And in fact, it's one of my, I can say, guidance light throughout my life. So as a female scientist from a minority from the Middle East, I want to show the world that we have talents, we have kindness, we can create positive impact, even though the world sometimes looks like crazy, especially around us with different wars. And I believe that we, with small positive impact that we create, we will that will create ripple impact
Mm-hmm.
and ripple effect. So what I want to leave after I am gone from this life, people remember me with kindness. They remember my knowledge, the positive impact that I created in their life. I know that I had so many people who created the same in my life, and I want to continue this journey. And I try to, even for my kids, to teach them that this is my values, and we need to continue spreading peace and love and compassion and empathy as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome. And what brings you the greatest joy?
To be honest, Lisa, I love seeing people around me happy and have peace in mind wherever they are, poor, rich, no matter what,
Mm.
no matter where they are, just have peace in mind and happy.
Mm.
And that
Yeah.
brings me a lot of joy. And the second thing is, in fact, I love learning, I love helping others, I love my family, I love family values, I love kindness, seeing people like dancing,
Yeah.
happy. And I had that photo on my Facebook, in fact, since the start of the war in Syria. Make music, not war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I when I think of when you said people at peace and kindness, we judge people because we look at their lives and think, "Oh, that's so bad," and they are so happy. if you go to if there's a developing country and if you've traveled and you see, and they're happy, they take their children to work all day and they're strapped to them. How happy could a baby be? And a mama, and mama's working but we judge them. We think, oh, I put my kid in daycare. So that resonated with me on that piece, because it means so much. It can mean different things for different people.
Absolutely.
Did that come out right?
No. Yeah. In fact, and this is why I said wherever they are.
Wherever they are.
Make music, not war. When people talk about helping refugees by bringing them to another country, I always say, please help people stay where they are, happy where they are, because they love their own environment. No one likes to just be pulled away of their own environment and leave. People, even they are poor, and in fact, richness is all about our peace of mind. It's not about how much money we have, and it's a long conversation if we want to go in that way.
Yeah. Well, Rana, I want to thank you for taking the last half hour to spend with us and talk a little deeper about pivotal moments and, just sharing your own stories and your own moments and again, how to transition out or how to recognize and move faster, because that's the important part. Is good or, it's not always good. The defining moment isn't always what you think it should be. So I thank you. If anyone wants to reach out to you or engage with you, what is the best way to do that?
I am present on LinkedIn and many social media, but I prefer LinkedIn. Okay. They can connect with me, text me. I am always happy to communicate with people. All right. I connect with them.
All right. Well, thank you, Rana, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. All right. Well, if you're part of Leader Impact, you can always discuss or share this podcast with your group. And if you are not yet part of Leader Impact and would like to find out more and grow your leadership, find our podcast page on our website at leaderimpact.ca and check out our free leadership assessment. You will also find on our webpage Chapter 1 of Braden Douglas's book, Becoming a Leader of Impact. You can also check out groups available in Canada at leaderimpact.ca, or if you're listening from anywhere else in the world, check out leaderimpact.com or get in touch with us by email, info@leaderimpact.ca, and we will connect you. And if you like this podcast, please leave us a comment, give us a rating or a review. This will help other global leaders find our podcast. Thank you for engaging with us. And remember, impact starts with you.